This week's guest is Dr. Tiffany Smith, a trailblazing functional psychiatric nurse practitioner and founder of Aroma Functional Nutrition. Dr. Tiffany, tell us more about you.
Well, first, thank you for having me. So, yes, I am Dr. Tiffany M. Smith, and I am an integrative and functional psychiatric nurse practitioner. And what that means is that in our healthcare society, you typically, when you go see, so my role is like that of a psychiatrist, which is an MD. I am a nurse practitioner, so I started as a nurse and got advanced training to become a provider. So I'm the nurse version, it's a nurse doctor kind of position. So I assess, I diagnose and treat mental illness. But when you go see a mental health provider, normally it is medication that you're going to leave with. But for me, I get to the root cause of what's really going on. I identify, is it circumstantial, physiologic, um, lifestyle? I look at everything about the person and treat the root cause so that you do not have to just be placed on medications just because you're sad. You know, if you can't sleep, then you get the sleep pill, or you're anxious, so you get the anxiety pill. It's like, what is really causing this? And sometimes it's not physiological, it's circumstantial, and vice versa, or both. And so I utilize holistic, natural, and lifestyle modalities to treat patients.
Okay, and I know we're going to kind of talk about what got you there. One thing that I wanted to mention, at least for myself, when I'm praying to reclaim my health and
Mm-hmm.
to no longer need the medication, right? So kind of like what
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about. So no longer having the ailment or whatnot that requires
Mm-hmm.
medication. So that's where I'm at. So I'm with you on that. So you found your
Cool.
calling by helping your combat veteran husband recover from debilitating pain, PTSD, and other conditions. Share what it was like witnessing the debilitating effects of Western medicine on him.
Okay, so let me paint a picture of what life was like. You know, we had two or three kids at that point. I think we had two, and we were bringing in the third, and it was harder and harder for him to go to the grocery store, go to the kids' functions. So he was pretty much bedbound. And in Western medicine, you know, it was like there's pills, there's procedures, but so he had muscle relaxers, and they kept him down in the bed for at least 3 days, just knocked him out. So he had no pain, but he couldn't live in his life with quality.
Mm.
And then, you know, different procedures were invasive for like joint pains, you know, it's steroid injections and whatnot, so invasive. And he tried some of those things, but the quality of life just was not there. And he got to a point where he said, forget it. I don't want anything else with Western medicine. And it's like, okay, so how are we going to get our quality of life back? How are we going to do this? Because this is the healthcare system that we've been trained in. Because he also later in his military career became a nurse. So we didn't know.
Mhm.
We're stuck. And so we had to do some research. And the first thing that came to us as a solution was aromatherapy. And that's the utilization of essential oils for their therapeutic benefits. And I couldn't get any information on how to utilize this from Dr. Google or people. So I went to school and got a degree in aromatherapy. And as I was creating blends, we found blends that worked for him. And then he started to get up out the bed. And then he started to get back engaging in life. And he said, it is amazing to me that something you rubbed on me got me out of pain better than any pill that I've ever taken. And so at that point, he's up, back engaged. Now it's how do you prevent going back there? And that's where we start looking at lifestyle medicine, our lives and how we were living, and start making better choices. We started looking at, with functional medicine, I got additional education in lifestyle and functional medicine. Medication, but functional medication finds the dysfunction within our bodies and treats that. That's that root cause treatment so that it's not reoccurring. So I started working with him with these modalities, and he is the most active person. He gets like 20,000 steps a day.
Oh my.
And I have, hashtag step goals, right?
Yes.
Um, so he is amazing. Um, and so we're living our life. And so I saw that my patients in my traditional practice were really suffering with a lot of the same things. So we created our own practice and started to bring in this knowledge. All that knowledge I gained from him, I start to share it with others. But one of the biggest things is the impact of our lifestyle on our health. And so that's what I really carry forward in my message. And we named our company after our journey, Aroma Functional Nutrition Psychiatry.
Love that. Love that. So, Women of Color and Intimate Conversation is about empowering women of color and elevating their voices. So, thinking about your journey, thinking about what brought you to functional medicine and nutrition to create a holistic approach to healing, what three actions can women of color take to tap into their power and voice?
Such a powerful question because I believe that with all of the distractions, all of the notifications and the cell phone and social media and all of that stuff, we have to, it's hard for us to focus.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we have to do is calm the noise so that we can hear ourselves, hear our own thoughts and intuition because we're so influenced by everything else. So, taking time where you're really checking in with yourself to make sure that you are in alignment with your destiny and where you should go. The second thing is to get rid of things that no longer serve you. Get rid of anything that does not bring you joy, happiness, or peace. And if you're not sure which side it's on, you put it on probation and then you see you see which side it falls on. So get rid of things that no longer serve you. And the last thing is always put your self-care first. Put you first because without you, everything that you do and are involved in or care about can't get its goodness from you. So you have to put yourself first, and that's not a selfish thing.
Right. And you know what? And if it is, so what? Right.
Right.
I mean, so what? However, we should put ourselves first. The
Right.
airlines have been telling us for years, if there's a situation, put your
Hmm.
mask on first, right? So they're
That's
telling
right.
us that for a reason. And so there's
Hmm.
a lot to that. And what you're talking about actually, definitely ties in very nicely with this next part, which is often Black women and other women of color do a lot, or even they do too much. We do too much. We
Yeah.
do not always prioritize self and self-care. So me
Hmm.
personally, like what you talked about, those three steps, pretty much I
Hmm.
incorporated that these past 2 months. I took a 2 month social media break. Um,
Hmm.
and so to do what you said, to calm the noise, right? To
Right.
get, so caught up and focused on social media because, with the algorithms, you got to constantly post, 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 post. So
Right.
that's like a job within itself, right? And then
Hmm.
seeing things that's happening with other people, sometimes they can depress you, can
Hmm.
have you questioning yourself when you know you're on the right path. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, getting away from all of that. So, you've already given us calm the noise, get rid of things that no longer serve you, and put yourself first. Um,
Hmm.
Talk to us a little bit more about the importance of taking time for ourselves and the power in the pause.
Yeah. So in taking time with yourself, it is even if it's just 2 minutes, a few times during the day, it's amazing because it's going to calm the nervous system, which is going to decrease any potential for anxiety or reactivity to situations. If you just take a few moments and just breathe and just kind of be here now, wherever you are, it's going to help you approach the next things um, more mindfully. So, we're talking about preventing auto accidents, preventing like a slip and fall, preventing um, being argumentative and irritable, which could lash out at someone at work or with the kids. Taking time for yourself also helps just your detoxification and the drainage in your body. When you are mindful in your breathing, it helps your lymph nodes, to drain toxins out of your body and move and increase circulation, not just the oxygen, but the blood flow and the lymph. I mentioned calming the nervous system, and it also can help with hormonal balance by taking a moment and pausing.
Mm,
You're getting back to homeostasis, that balance, when you're taking a pause for yourself. And it's one of those, it's just, and when you take the pause, I mean, it's a loaded thing of things that you can do for yourself, but it's those things that bring you joy. If it's listening for your to your favorite song for a few minutes, watching a comedy show, just stepping outside and letting the sun beam on your face. Whatever the simplest things, to planning an extravagant spa day, whatever that is, it's important to do that and know that it's okay to do that and put you first.
yeah, absolutely. And another thing that I did, and I'm sure I did it during my 2-month pause, is that I created a peaceful space on my porch.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought a new set, the couch, the chairs, the table. And then I
Mm-hmm.
also put like, and I love art. So I'm really big into Black art. And so I had I don't know, I'll call it a blanket. So a blanket with a big face of a Black woman, and her hair is wrapped
Mm-hmm.
in a scarf and everything. And there's like matching pillows. So that's my space on the porch. And that was definitely my happy place, right? To just
Yeah.
and to sit and being outside, being able to breathe fresh air and the sun,
Mm-hmm.
shining down on me. So absolutely to all of that. So I honor my late
Mm-hmm.
sister, author and poet Saul True by asking about Dreams Deferred, which is the
Mm-hmm.
title of one of her books. Please share a Dreams Deferred moment.
Oh man. So I actually wanted to go into mental health immediately after nursing school. And I didn't. I
Mm,
was at that time, you had to have so many years before you can become a nurse practitioner to go from the bachelor's to the master's. So I got into medical surgical nursing, because that's where the jobs were at that time for nurses. And it wasn't until maybe a decade or so later that I was working on a psychiatric unit as a nurse. And I'm like, and it was a crisis stabilization unit. And I'm like, oh, yes, I remember now. I really wanted to delve deeper into this field. And so that's when I went back to school and I got my master's as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, got a doctorate degree in clinical nurse leadership, and all of the other education with my husband, and that's what got me here today. I remember when I first um, applied, I didn't get into a school, and so I had to process that. And that took, I don't know how long it took before I got into my actual school, but I want to say maybe another year or so
okay.
on the journey of just finding a good school and getting accepted. So it was definitely a journey um, getting here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm so glad I arrived.
Yeah, same here. And you know what? Sometimes we are supposed to go on a journey so that we have
Mm-hmm.
something to talk about, right? To for
Mm-hmm.
others to aspire to, and to be able to inspire other people. Like that's kind of what happened with me when I first launched my podcast. I was hemming
Mm-hmm.
and hawing, I was hesitant, and then I finally did it, and I realized that for me, a lot that happens for me happens so that I can share it with other people. So I can tell
Yes.
them, well, I did this, that, and the other to get to this particular place, as opposed for it just happening, right? Because if it just happens for you,
Right.
what's the story in that? What's the testimony in that? Like, how does a person duplicate that? So, absolutely.
Yes.
Now, I know you really want to talk about this. So, I empower women of color to live a dream lifestyle. What is a dream lifestyle, and how are you living a dream life?
All right. What is a dream lifestyle? A dream lifestyle is whatever helps you be in a state of well being, whatever that means for you. So that means that if you like to spend your weekends undisturbed, binge watching Netflix, um, then that is your dream lifestyle. If you want to travel the world, that's your dream lifestyle. If you wanted to run a marathon, be in a healthy relationship, raise kids, that, that is a dream lifestyle. And this question reminds me, I watched this show on Netflix called How to Live a Rich Life, and
Mhm.
he asks, "What is your rich life?" You know, and so this reminds me of that question and my thought process around it. And we all have a different dream
Yes,
lifestyle, but it's all attainable. I do believe that if you can believe it, you can achieve it,
absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
So, how do I live a dream lifestyle? Oh man, how deep do you want to go? Um, what's important to me at this moment, I've just empty nested my last child. So it's all about me and my husband living our grown and sexy life.
Okay.
So, yes, so we are, defining that every day, what it
Mm-hmm.
means to us, but it's all about us spending time together. And we have prepared for this for a long time because now I've always worked from home. Not always, but like 2015, I want to say before
Yeah.
COVID,
Uh-huh.
I've worked from home. So I've always been shifting to freedom. For me, it's about location freedom, financial freedom, time freedom. That's the dream lifestyle for me, to do whatever I want to do when I want to do it, and financial abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have that. We are in that place and position, and we're always like, okay, what do you want to do now? Let's do this. And it doesn't have to be super complicated. It can be, we just bought a new Nintendo Switch game to play, but it's about quality time together. I
Yes.
mean, we also just bought a new RV too, but it's
Oh,
just big and small, these little things about how we can value and grow the time we have together, and that's the dream lifestyle for me.
and I love that, right? And like you said, it is absolutely what you choose for yourself, right? And everybody has a
Mhm.
different lifestyle. Like for me, number one is travel, right? You mentioned travel. That's
Mhm.
me, like travel, travel, travel. As long as I can
Mhm.
keep doing that, I'm happy. Now I'm
Mhm.
in a dream stage, right? So for me, as a dream lifestyle coach, I have three steps. So first
Okay.
is dream. The second one is it's a 3+. So the second one is decide and design. So in other words, define, like you mentioned. And then the
Mhm.
third is to drive towards that dream life. So I'm
That's
back in
right.
the dream stage, right? To
Mhm.
be able to think, okay, now that I've been living like this for over a year,
Mhm.
what's the next part of it, right? What's the next
Right.
part? And so I'm back in that dream. And for me, the way that I'm dreaming is really kind of going back to pausing, or being
Mhm.
calm in a noise and being aware, is to see, okay, what really does the universe want me to do? Right.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
where I'm at. I'm there in that part, again, I'm calling it the dream
Mhm.
phase. I'm being open, I'm pausing to receive,
Yeah.
okay, what do you want me to do? Because I know there's things that I thought I should have
Mhm.
been doing, and those weren't necessarily the things for me. And so
Yeah.
I'm just being,
Mhm.
awareness to see what's next for me at this particular time.
Yeah, it's cyclic, you know?
It
It's
is.
it's a it's a cyclic thing because it's a journey. The
Mhm.
life is a journey, so we're never stopping. We're always striving for that next thing. And that's what makes life so beautiful,
Right.
you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love it so much. You mentioned how you took the 2-month break and
Hmm.
then you created, this beautiful place
Hmm.
in during this time. And what came to mind is how what we think about, we bring about, that
Yeah.
saying. And when you take those moments, look at where your thoughts are and what are you bringing into your life. And it's just as simple as choosing to think something different to
Yes.
get to that dream lifestyle that you want. So, what you thought about and focused on, you brought about and elevated in your world.
Hmm.
So I want to just I'm stating to your audience, what is it that you're thinking about? What do you want? Give it attention and watch it grow.
And I love that you emphasize that, because I did share with another guest. I was sharing how with me, like with men. So the person I was speaking with was talking about trauma around losing her father. And I lost my father when I was young as well. And
Mhm.
both of us, it had impacted our lives. For me, I didn't realize it had impacted male and female, just in general relationships. I didn't realize that. And none of it really came to mind until I was an adult. And so
Mhm.
it's like that part of my life, I'm just like, oh, that's just not for me at this particular time. So career and my son and everything else came first. And so I was sharing
Mhm.
with her how like a week or two ago, I'm like, I flipped it, and I really emphasized and I said, this is what I want, right? I want this in my
Mhm.
life. And, I want this to be a priority and number one. And
Mhm.
so that evening, not necessarily the same exact day, but within a few days, I went somewhere and I noticed a guy looking at me. And I had not noticed that, right? Because I'm constantly with blinders on. And so the point
Mhm.
that I'm making is I shifted to be
Mhm.
aware of what was going on around me. And once I did that, I saw it. Like I'm sure it was happening
Wow.
all the time. I just didn't notice it. And so
Yeah.
now I'm on a lookout for it, right? I'm expecting it to happen.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yes, yes.
That's awesome sauce.
Thank you. So before we wrap, what would you like to leave the audience with?
Yeah, so what I like to leave the audience with is this free 21-day Love Thyself Journey audio podcast that I have. And everything in our life starts with the love that we have for ourselves.
Mhm.
When we're seeking out, an intimate relationship, when we're caring for our families, when we just want to live that dream life, we have to love ourselves to achieve it. And so it's every day. It's a daily task and education that you would get that'll help you dig deeper into you and really make sure you're loving yourself, just digging into your own well-being and helping you achieve the life that you want. So you would get this by texting self-love as a compound word to 702-919-4249. 702-919-4249. And you'll text self-love, and that'll give you access to this free audio podcast. And it just helps you to just calm the noise. You'll start to see things that serve you and don't serve you, and help you move towards your goals and live your life being aligned with yourself.
I love that. And I thank you so much for the gift. And so it definitely will be part of the show notes. So
Mhm.
you all will be, so, if you don't catch it just from her speaking it, you'll be able to see it. So I actually just texted it. So we shall,
Awesome.
we shall see. So Dr. Tiffany M. Smith, I so appreciate your time, your voice on Women of Color and Intimate Conversation, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, and you as well.
Goodbye.